So now that we know what MDX is, in a very general sense, where does it get used? Well, obviously, as a query language, we use it to query cubes, which are a very specialized data structure, and we can query cubes as part of applications that we use for reporting and analysis. What kind of cubes? In this course, we're focused on multidimensional cubes stored in SQL Server analysis services, but other multidimensional cubes that we can query with MDX include Oracle Essbase, SAP NetWeaver BI, and SAS OLAP Server. We also use MDX to develop various cube objects, such as a calculated member, which is an expression we store in the cube that gets evaluated when a query executes and includes that calculated member. We can also create a named set by using an expression that returns a set of members based on some rules that we specify in an expression. And we have key performance indicators, also known as KPIs. Each KPI is really a collection of expressions that we use to show how well a value compares to a goal at a point in time. We can show the raw comparison or use a graphic to indicate good or bad performance, all through MDX expressions. Now, I explain how to work with calculated members, name sets, and KPIs in the Analysis Services Fundamentals course. We also use MDX to add an MDX script statement to the cube. An MDX script statement is a more advanced type of expression that overrides values stored in cube cells. We can create actions using MDX expressions, so we can do things like associate the opening of a URL in a browser based on an MDX expression, or pass parameters to a reporting services report. Also, we can define security on dimensions or cell data by using MDX expressions. Both actions and security are also covered in the Analysis Services Fundamentals course. Another way we might use MDX is to create queries that instantiate cube components or modify existing ones. There are MDX commands to create objects, alter objects, or even delete objects, much like we have similar commands in Transact SQL if you're familiar with that language. Besides using MDX as part of the development process, there are several places in the Microsoft Business Intelligence stack where we use it to create queries or expressions. Let's start with ad hoc queries. If we know how to write MDX and just need a quick way to get an answer from a cube, we can use SQL Server Management Studio to connect to a cube, write, and execute the query. There are a few tools available in Management Studio to help us write the query, as we'll see later. Probably the most common way to handle ad hoc queries, though, is to use Excel to connect to analysis services and then use the drag and drop interface in a pivot table, which automatically generates MDX. However, we do have the option to add some MDX expressions to enhance the query to create sets just for use within that workbook. When we want information from a cube on a regular basis or nicely formatted, we use reporting tools such as reporting services. There we have a drag and drop interface to help build a query, but we also have the ability to create our own query manually. Similarly, Performance Point Analytic reports generate MDX with a graphical interface, but we can fine-tune the report layout by adding in our own query. If we use SharePoint dashboards, which contain web parts that connect to analysis services such as an Excel workbook, a reporting services report, or a Performance Point component, we can include a filter on the dashboard that uses analysis services as a source. If we want to set a default value for filter selection, we can use an MDX expression. We can also create performance point scorecards comprised of KPIs, and those KPIs can reference data in a cube. Like the other tools, we can use a graphical interface to generate the necessary MDX, but we have the ability to set up our own MDX expression as well. Also, performance point filters allow us to create a custom list of values by using a formula. And when we build performance point dashboards, we can connect multiple items on the dashboard by using MDX in some situations.